Beneath a banyan tree, the Buddha spoke to his disciples, his presence serene and filled with wisdom. I sat near, listening closely to his words. As his gentle gaze turned towards me, "Let me share a story," he began, his voice soft but profound. In the village of Shravasti, the Buddha said, a potter named Sushil created beautiful works of art. His pots, adorned with intricate designs, were praised by all who saw them. Yet Sushil was troubled, seeking approval from everyone who admired his work. One day, as Sushil worked on a delicate vase, his hand slipped, and the vase cracked. The villagers, seeing the imperfection, laughed and mocked him, their admiration quickly replaced by ridicule. Sushil, overwhelmed by despair, abandoned his craft and wandered to the riverbank. There, he encountered an elder monk from our Sangha, who was returning from alms. The monk saw Sushil's sorrowful expression and sat beside him. "Why do you weep, my friend?" the monk asked, his voice gentle and kind. Sushil, wiping his tears, replied, "I am a failure. My work, once loved, is now scorned. I cannot face the shame." The monk smiled, his eyes filled with compassion. "You are like a deer chasing mirages in the desert," he said. "What do you mean?" Sushil asked, his curiosity overcoming his sadness. The monk placed a hand on Sushil's shoulder and began to explain. "You seek approval from others, but their opinions are fleeting. Like clouds in the sky, create your pots not for their praise, but for the joy and purpose that arises within you. The beauty of your craft lies in the sincerity of your effort, not in the judgment of others. Let go of this craving, and you shall find peace." Sushil listened intently, the monk's words resonating deeply within him. Returning to his workshop, he began to craft with renewed focus, seeking fulfillment in the act itself. The villagers, seeing his change, marveled at his newfound tranquility, their admiration following his dedication. The Buddha paused, his gaze meeting mine, as he continued, "Like Sushil, many of us become bound by the desire for approval. In the world today, this manifests in the form of social media, likes, comments, and shares consuming our attention. When you post something, ask yourself, are you sharing to serve, or are you trapped by a need for validation?" This craving for approval creates suffering, much like the wheel of samsara, spinning endlessly without offering true satisfaction. The key is mindfulness. Observe your thoughts and intentions before you act. If your motivation arises from wisdom or compassion, proceed. But if it stems from insecurity or desire for validation, pause and reflect. Remember, approval is impermanent, just as the seasons change and rivers flow. Find joy in the act of sharing itself, without attachment to its outcome. Doing so frees you from the chains of expectation. I absorbed his words, reflecting on my own attachments and desires, and felt the weight of my unmindful habits. Around me, the disciples were deep in contemplation, the lesson resonating within each of their hearts. The Buddha concluded with a serene smile, saying, "In the pursuit of approval, we lose ourselves. In mindfulness, we find liberation." His words lingered, like the fragrance of a lotus flower, guiding us toward a life of mindful intention and inner peace. Another day, as the Sangha walked through the valley, the Buddha paused by a grove of wildflowers to rest. I stood nearby, watching his tranquil posture. As the disciples gathered around him with anticipation, a farmer approached, his face lined with worry, and bowed deeply before the Buddha. "Master," Devadatta said, "the forest teems with danger, hidden threats lurking in the unknown." The Buddha paused, gesturing for the group to sit near a flowering bush. "Let me share a tale," he began, his voice calm and steady. "In an ancient time," the Buddha said, "there lived a crow who resided in a mango grove, abundant with fruit. This grove was also home to a peacock, whose feathers gleamed like jewels under the sun. The crow often watched the peacock, admiring his beauty, and envy began to take root within the crow's heart. He began with a story, his voice gentle but firm, resonating with timeless truth. There was once a tree in the heart of a vast forest, the Buddha said, his words flowing with serene clarity. One afternoon, as the peacock displayed his colorful feathers, a snake slithered silently among the mango trees. The crow, consumed by envy, failed to sound the alarm, and the grove was left unguarded. The snake struck swiftly, but the peacock spread his magnificent wings and leapt away unharmed. Escaping into the forest, the crow realized his folly. His jealousy had led him to neglect his role, putting the grove at risk. With a heavy heart, the crow resolved to change his ways. He focused on his own virtues, embracing his ability to warn of danger. He paused briefly, allowing the words to settle like leaves falling gently to the forest floor. The tree remained silent, its roots deep, its branches reaching for the heavens, reflecting both resilience and growth. The Buddha turned to the farmer, his expression serene but firm. Social media today mirrors the peacock and the crow, he said. The scroll of your feed is filled with lives more colorful than your own, tempting you to compare. However, the beauty of another does not diminish your worth. Tend to your own grove, focusing on your strengths and values. When envy arises, observe it without judgment, and let it pass like a cloud in the sky. Cultivate gratitude for what you possess and the virtues you embody. In doing so, you free yourself from the suffering of comparison. Devadatta nodded slowly, his restlessness fading like mist in the morning sun. The Buddha rose, and the group followed, their steps lighter and more mindful. The Buddha concluded with a gentle smile, saying, "In acceptance of oneself, envy fades. In mindfulness, contentment blossoms." His words echoed in my mind, guiding me to embrace my own path with gratitude and awareness. Free from the snare of comparison. Another day, as the full moon rose in the evening sky, the Sangha gathered for meditation under its soft glow. I joined the disciples, seated in quiet reflection. As the Buddha appeared serene amidst the luminous light, a villager approached, bowing low before the Buddha, his face marked by distress. "Blessed One," he began, "rumors spread among us, sowing discord in our village. How can we mend the harm?" The Buddha, his expression calm as a mountain, gestured for the villager to sit. "Listen well," he said, his voice steady. "In the days of yore," the Buddha began, "there lived a jackal who roamed the forest under the light of the moon. He loved to sing, his voice loud and jarring, disturbing the peace of the jungle creatures. The jackal delighted in seeing their startled faces and the chaos his singing would cause among the animals. Unaware of the harm he sowed, he continued his song, believing himself clever and admired for his boldness. One night, the jackal chose to sing near the den of lions, thinking his voice could outshine their majestic roars. The lions, disturbed by the harsh noise, emerged from their den and chased the jackal through the forest in his escape. The jackal stumbled and fell, injured and alone. Realizing the folly of his actions, he sought refuge in a quiet part of the forest, where he remained silent, reflecting on the harm he had caused. There, he encountered a wise owl, who sang melodies that calmed the night and brought peace to all who heard. The jackal, inspired by the owl's harmony, asked, "How do you sing so beautifully, without causing harm?" The owl replied, "My song arises from mindfulness, bringing joy and soothing the hearts of those who listen. If your voice spreads discord, it mirrors the chaos within you. But if your song flows from inner peace, it shall bring harmony to all." The jackal learned the art of mindful melody, transforming his harsh voice into a gentle tune that brought unity to the jungle. When he returned, his song no longer sowed discord but inspired the creatures to gather harmoniously under the moon. The Buddha turned to the villager, his gaze steady and filled with compassion. "Words are powerful, like the jackal's song," he said. "In the realm of social media, every post, comment, or message has an impact. Will it harm or heal? Before you share, ask yourself, does this bring joy, wisdom, or understanding? If it does not, let it remain unsaid." In mindfulness, your words can become a source of peace, weaving threads of connection rather than scattering seeds of discord. The villager, humbled, nodded and vowed to share only kind and truthful words, both in his village and the vast digital landscape around me. The disciples reflected deeply, pondering the echoes of their own words and the lessons they carried. The Buddha concluded with a serene smile, saying, "The harm we spread returns to us. Like the echo of the jackal's song, choose harmony, and you shall find peace." His teachings resonated within me, guiding my heart towards mindful speech and compassionate action. As the moonlight bathed the Sangha in tranquility, the Buddha's words rippled like the lake's surface, carried by the breeze as the disciples listened intently. The water embraced the vessel, cleansing it of its stains, returning it to its untainted essence. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.